Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week. We are very happy to welcome you to our show titled Speak of Africa. We have a lot of news for you today. As usual, we thank you for your response. Our numbers are going up. We thank our subscribers. We know most of the cities where people are watching us. We know those cities. Abuja, Lagos, Boya, that's where you are. New York, those are the cities where most of our viewers are. We know, we're watching. Everybody who is sharing this show, we're watching. And we say thank you for those who are taking our message and spreading it worldwide. We started this show because we wanted to make sure we have a voice for our people. Our people are like invisible in the whole world. There is racism, there is xenophobia, there is Afrophobia, there is Negrophobia. These are all terms which indicate people do not like us. We are Africans. People are treating us like the wretched of the earth. We are victims of racism. So that's really what this show is about. The show of today, we want to talk about our plight as colored people, as black people all over the world, especially black people in the motherland, Africa. This week, as you can see, there's a lot happening in Europe. We have elections in the European Union. Most of the center-right parties won the elections handsomely. Why? Because the people are preaching racism. They are preaching Afrophobia. They are preaching Negrophobia. They are preaching xenophobia. All these terms mean hatred of black people. Why do they hate black people? Well, they hate black people just because black people are not white. So that's what this whole issue is about. Yet, the people who hate black people come to Africa and steal our resources. They're not saying, oh, we don't like black people, so we don't even like their resources. They want our resources, but they don't want us. So that's the predicament Africans are finding themselves. As we're coming to the studio to tape the show of today, we got some very bad news. We've been talking about immigration on this show every week. Our people are leaving the motherland in search of greener pastures overseas, in Europe and the Americas. We've used terms like jackpot to describe this phenomenon. And the phenomenon persists, okay? It's still there. You find people who should really be in the middle class, they are running away from Africa in search of greener pastures in Europe. Yet the Europeans do not want Africans to come to their countries. They are doing everything possible to keep Africans at bay. So when you look at the enthusiastic response the center-right parties receive from elections, it's because they had very racist platforms. They were telling their people, we don't want black people to come to Europe. If they come, we're going to deport them. We gave you an example of Britain and Rwanda. Britain went as far as signing a new bill, which became law, saying that if Africans are caught, they should be sent back to Africa. And they made special deals with Paul Kagame's government of Rwanda. Paul Kagame received a lot of money in return for accepting these people from Africa. So what do you think? You think this is something good? We don't think so. Britain is not alone. Italy is another country. This week, you guys saw the G7 meeting. The big guys were meeting. America, Britain, France. They were meeting in Italy. Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, was hosting the G7 meeting. They had a lot of issues on their mind. But among these issues was the menace of China and Russia and how to take advantage of Africa, how to contain Africans from migrating to Europe. You may hear Giorgia Meloni talk about her grandiose plan, a new plan for Africa, but we think this is a mistake. They sit there complaining about, oh, Russia is taking over Africa. Russia is not really good. Africa should not be going to Russia. But Africans are really a desperate people. When the West cannot provide solutions, they look elsewhere. For so many years, neocolonialism has failed Africans. Slavery has failed Africans. Colonialism has failed Africans. So Africans are looking for alternatives. So when you see Russia coming with the Wagner Group, now Africa Corps, the Africans, especially like those in the Sahel region, they are embracing it because they are looking at it like an alternative. It's like the lesser of two evils. That's just the way they look at Russia and the West. Russia seems to be the lesser of two evils. Okay? We saw Herman Cohen, who used to be Mr. Africa. We're reading some of his stuff. He has a lot of African experience. He was complaining about what is happening in Africa. But we think Herman Cohen was not really saying the truth. He knows the continent. But what he's not saying is, in order to protect Africa against Russia, America should not just be paying lip service. Look at what happened after the Second World War in Europe. The economies of most of these European countries were in shambles. What did America do? America came up with the Marshall Plan to help Europe stand on her feet again. So if America and the West are serious about keeping Russia at bay, then they need to give Africa something similar to the Marshall Plan. It's not just like a giveaway. Africa has a lot of resources. So it should be like, in return for African resources, let's develop the infrastructure in Africa. Let's make Africa a serious trading partner so that Africa can grow. And if this happens, the issues we're having with terrorism will not be there. But because most of these people just want to exploit Africa, they don't care about what is happening to the average African, terrorism will continue to be a fertile ground for terrorists. Africa will continue to attract negative elements. Russia will continue to go to Africa and try to supplant the West. Is that what they want? They say that's not what they want, but they are not doing the right thing. Okay? So we start the show of today by looking at this G7 meeting. Then we'll also look at the elections in Europe. Le Pen won handsomely to the point that Emmanuel Macron was forced to look at her party and say, wow, this lady has really won big. So in the whole European Union, it looks like the parties that were racist were rewarded handsomely. But what happens? Our people continue dying at sea. As we're coming to tape this show, over 164 people drowned off the shore of Italy. How many more people have to drown before we start taking these issues seriously? Giorgia Meloni may talk about the Marshall Plan. What does it mean? Italy is a very small economy by any standard. So they cannot really do much. They do not even have the resources. They don't have the economic muscle. Before, Giorgia Meloni's country, Italy, was part of the Chinese Road and Belt Initiative. Italy may say, oh, we've withdrawn ourselves from that Chinese influence. But what does this tell you? It tells you that she may talk the talk, but she doesn't have the weight to carry this talk. And that's the problem that we're facing. So we think we've laid the groundwork for most of the issues that we're going to discuss today, starting with Ambazonia. Because the people are frustrated, we've been telling you about the botched decolonization process in Cameroon. We don't want to go into the colonial history. Most of you have heard, after so many shows that we've had, you know what is happening. The people now decided to take up arms to fight the B guys. Bia's thought they would defeat these guys in 2 weeks or less. They call them 2 cubes of sugar that will melt. But for so many years now, since 2016, those 2 cubes of sugar are refusing to melt in the water. So they are still strong like stone. It's like you hit an iceberg. It's still there. It's not going anywhere. Today, we saw new tactics that have been introduced by the Amber Restoration Forces. A few weeks ago, one of the leaders of the ADF, Dr. Cho Ayaba, he came up with a directive. He wanted the taxis in Amazonia to be painted from yellow to blue and white. So today, any taxis that were running around, the guys just got upset. They saw some yellow taxis and they decided to just burn them because they said this is a symbol of the oppressor. They just started burning those yellow taxis. Take a minute and watch the video. You see them burning the taxi.
Happening now at Danigunte Street. Taxis burned down to ashes that they don't want to see yellow color by the voices happening now to the street live. Happening now to the street taxis that they want to see taxis. They don't want to see the existence of taxi happening now Danigunte to the street. Please, people should pray for us in Bamenda. Happening now in Bamenda.
So after so many years, why is it that the Biya government cannot make peace so that they can discuss the form of state? What is so sacred about the form of state that cannot be discussed by the people themselves? It's because this is a dictatorship, and a dictator does not want to lose power. So he wants to die in power. Even this week, you can see the way a lot of the opposition groups are getting really angry. As they look forward towards the 2025 presidential elections, most of them are saying they're not going to take things lying down. Biya can continue issuing his haute instruction, godly instructions. They are not going to buy it. So it looks like the people are really preparing for war. So the war is not just going to be from the side of Amazonia. Even the Francophones, they are really going to start fighting. And we can see a big fight looming. When Paul Biya covers his eyes, a lot of these people who think Biya is a god who will never die, going to be in serious trouble. They're going to be in serious trouble, and mark my words, that's just what we see when we look at the tea leaves. A lot, because the way the Biya regime has done things, anytime you show any sign of ambition, they crush you. We revisit Marafa Amidu Yaya. Just by saying that he has presidential ambitions, when Biya's term is over, he would like to be president. Biya and his people did not like that. They decided to put him in jail. They just came up with charges that were false, and they just tacked on him and said, oh, he's a guy who has stolen money from the government. Where is the proof? There's no proof. They have held him for so many years. He has not been sentenced. No court has found him guilty, but they continue locking him up. But this was a guy who has been Secretary General of the presidency. So when they treat their own people like this, who have been in government, so it tells you that they don't care. So long as Biya is president, everything goes. That's just what is happening. So we leave La République and we'll go to Burkina Faso. Yes, we saw pictures of Ibrahim Traoré participating in some prayer marches with his Muslim brothers and sisters. For the first time, I saw him without wearing military fatigues. Because the guy is like always thinking about fighting. Then what about Kemi Seba, the Russian puppet? Well, some of you told us that he went to Burkina Faso, but the people were so disillusioned about him, they just decided to just leave him alone, and they did not come out in big numbers the way they normally did. So this is a big disgrace for Kemi Seba. So are they looking at him more like a sellout or what? Well, the next show, we're going to tell you more about the activities of Kemi Seba. We'll take you now to the Central African Republic. This is a very chaotic country. Since the exit of Bokassa, this country has not known peace. You've had conflict upon conflict. Ashan Touadera has been in. We hear he's a very smart mathematician, but instead of using his mathematical knowledge to calculate how he can get his country out of trouble, he wants to stay in power forever, and he's coming up with schemes. He's using Russia. First he was using the Wagner Group. Now he's using Africa Corps, so he can stay in power. But you have people fighting him. So rebel activity is festering. More and more people are fighting in the Central African Republic, and we're just sharing this knowledge with you that peace is far away. We don't think the Central African Republic will come to peace anytime soon. All these rebel groups and Ashanti Twadera are fighting for power, are fighting for resources. That's what this whole game is about. They're fighting for resources.
$25,000 to $250,000 per year made easy. Do you dream about making big money? Well, we all do. Imagine joining pharmacy professionals to earn good money. Statistics show that the big pharma industry rules and controls America like a colossus. Do you want to find more details about the hidden gem? Join the Pharmacy Success crew now. Become a pharmacy professional today. Let us train you as pharmacy techs, foreign pharmacy graduates, USA pharmacy students. Learn to earn. We offer affordable online and offline programs. Act now. Browse our website for details, pharmacyprof.com, or call 301-760-0335.
Next, we take you to Kenya. A few weeks ago, we brought stories about William Ruto, the president of Kenya, historic visit to Washington, D.C. He was treated like America's best non-NATO ally. He was feted in Washington like a very important personality. In fact, President Joe Biden even allowed him to sit on his presidential chair. And the guy felt good, sitting on the seat of an American president. This was just like a cheap trick. A child would not have fallen for such a game. Sitting on Joe Biden's seat makes him feel good, right? But what does his country, Kenya, benefit from? Not much. In fact, during some of the meetings, Kenyans were ready to ask difficult questions to William Ruto. He ran away. He did not want to address those questions. But this week, there are more problems brewing in Kenya. Protests are big and loud. So many people protesting. Tax hike. The economy is not doing well. Then William Ruto's government decided to increase the taxes that the people pay. So the people were angry. They started protesting. William Ruto sent his thugs to go to the street and start arresting and beating people. And you know, Kenya is a democracy. So when we watch the way they were manhandling a lot of ordinary Kenyans, we did not like what we're seeing. And we're bringing you to look at it, draw your attention to this. We're drawing attention so you can see what is happening in Kenya. Kenya just knows how to play games. The peace initiative in Haiti. They have not solved their own problem in Kenya. They want to go and solve problems many, many miles away in Haiti. Haiti has a big problem. America and the UN are using Kenya to solve that problem. Why is America not sending troops to Haiti? Why do they want Kenya to do that? It's because William Ruto says, I'm your boy. I'm willing to do your bidding. So long as you give me some goodies, I will do whatever you want. And that's what is happening in Kenya. So when are Africans going to grow up? When are Africans going to start looking at themselves as a people with sovereignty? Not just boys who have to cower when America backs. They say, yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. When will they stop being slaves to America and some of these superpowers? Not anytime soon. Because a lot of African presidents are greedy. They don't care about their people. They only care about themselves. So they want to collect money from these foreign masters and put in their pockets. They don't care what happens to their own people. We'll take you next to Niger. In Niger, you have one of those countries that is part of the Sahel. We've been covering Niger so many times. Abdurrahman Tiani is the new strongman of the junta that overthrew President Mohamed Bazoum. Since the overthrow of President Mohamed Bazoum, he has been held. In fact, this week we understand that the junta is trying to withhold his presidential immunity, which means they're going to be able to try him in their own court, charge him with stuff like treason, national security violations. That's where we stand. And it looks like they are not giving him any chance for a fair trial. So the people already are looking at any action taken against Mohamed Bazoum as being illegitimate because they feel like they are not allowing his lawyers to talk to him. So he's not really getting a fair trial. So this is really a sad issue. So, but we'll keep looking because we know that this is going to create a whole lot of trouble. It's going to create a whole lot of trouble. Already, Niger has a lot of minerals. The French have been enjoying these minerals. Finally, the junta kicked the French out. Initially, the Americans were in, but because the Americans became arrogant, the military junta also kicked them out, told them to leave by September. So when we look at what is happening now, Niger is looking now for new allies like Iran and Russia. So the West is left in the cold. It's the resources in Niger. So they're not going to let Niger go away. They're going to fight. And that's how the West does its business. They're not just going to sit and watch. No, they're going to tackle Russia. It's a war. They're going to fight for those resources in Niger. What about Nigeria? Well, a lot is going on in Nigeria. We're just sad because some of our Nigerian friends are telling us the politicians have started voting again that they need to buy a new plane for President Bola Tinubu. You guys understand when Bola Tinubu traveled from Europe to Russia and also the Middle East, his plane was not really functioning well. So they are saying that they need to give a new plane to their president. But at this juncture, when you look at the way the Nigerian economy is not doing well, the labor unions have been out striking against government waste and low wages. Is this the right time for the politicians to be voting for money for a president? A lot of the average Nigerians do not think so. They think this is a very bad decision. This is why most of the politicians in Nigeria needs to be killed. Because what happened in Ghana during the days of Jerry Rawlings, it needs to happen in Nigeria. Because a lot of these politicians are very corrupt. They need to clean them out, wipe them out. Because I think it is a war. The poor people may not accept things any longer. It looks like the fuse is almost broken. So the people basically would want to challenge these politicians because the people have gotten it up to here. They are tired. Things are rough, but the politicians keep enjoying all the money. They keep having all the fun while the people are suffering. So we are bringing this issue in Nigeria to the forefront so that you can bear with us and know what is happening. From Nigeria now, we'll take you to Rwanda.
Tired of waiting in long lines at the emergency room or your doctor's office? You should be. Why wait in long lines for care? It's time for you to come to Lucille Urgent Care. Real care, no waiting. Lucille Urgent Care, the best place for true and loving care. Service at Lucille Urgent Care is convenient, fast, time efficient, affordable, accessible, transparent, and cost effective. Real treatment is your right. Indeed, it's not just a privilege or pejorative. Skip the emergency room's long lines, kiss the ER goodbye, say farewell to your old doctor's office, pay less, save time, enjoy the excitement of convenience, receive immediate treatment, get the healthcare you need quickly and affordably. Lucille Urgent Care offers many express services: rapid COVID-19 testing, on-site prescription, preventative lab services, imaging and x-rays, urgent medical treatment for common illnesses and injuries, routine vaccines and flu shots, work-related injury services, pre-employment, occupational, annual, and sports physicals, immigration exams, and much more. Same-day treatment, rapid lab results, extended hours, weekend hours, no appointment necessary, no insurance necessary, no doctor necessary, walk-ins accepted, telemedicine available. We are open 7 days a week with evening and weekend hours. We are located in Maryland, Lucille Urgent Care, 903 Half York Road, Towson, Maryland, 21204. Website, lucilleuc.com. Call at 443-275-1286 or 301-593-4897.
Paul Kagame is running for re-election, and we understand he has not allowed guys in the opposition to participate in these elections, so he will win unilaterally unopposed. Okay? Michelle Wong has been writing Do Not Disturb, who brought this book to your attention a few months ago. Some people say, oh, he's anti-Paul Kagame, but the people are really criticizing because they think that Paul Kagame is a big guy. He's a strong man. He does not want to build institutions in his country. It's true, some people are saying he's been developing the country, but developing the country and being a dictator, are those two goals mutually exclusive? Tell us. So it's for you to talk. Finally, we take you to South Africa. A few weeks ago, we told you that South Africa has had a new election, and for the first time, the ANC lost power. They lost their majority. Since 1994, when they ushered in a new government of democracy by black people, things have not really worked well. Black people have been very corrupt. So the ANC that used to really dominate the political landscape in South Africa has been losing power. First, the party has been breaking into pieces. First, the MK, Jacob Zuma, broke the party. Jacob Zuma alone made the ANC to lose a lot of votes, okay? Because his party, the MK party, took a whole lot of votes. So when you see South Africa now, Cyril Ramaphosa is just struggling to build a coalition. He calls it a government of national unity. But we think it's just like a government of survival because he wants to remain president. So we're even thinking that he will be able to bring the EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters Party of Julius Malema, to form a coalition government because these are all ANC with the same political belief systems. But the EFF could not really work with him, so he went now to the Democratic Alliance, a white-owned party, a party that supports wealth staying in the hands of white people. Cyril Ramaphosa wants to work with the devil. He doesn't care. Whether this hurts his people, he doesn't care. He just wants to be president. That's the sad news. He wants to be president. He doesn't care whether he makes a deal with the devil, which is the Democratic Alliance, which is run by white people. The ANC believes in black empowerment. How can you achieve black empowerment when you start working with a party like the DA? So he should have been better off building a coalition with the EFF party of Julius Malema. Now that he's working with the white people, so that tells you that any form of progressive agenda is dead. The white people will not accept it. They will not accept to take wealth from white hands and put it in black hands. It's not going to happen. So that's why this new election has not brought hope for black people. It has brought despair. We've come to the end of our show, and we're saying thank you very much for watching our show. Then we are also forming classes in pharmacy technicians, foreign pharmacy graduates, pharmacy students. So people are registering for these classes already. So we are admitting students who are registering for the classes. So please register for the classes. Tell your friends about these classes. We're encouraging people to attend these classes. If you need help, call my phone number 301-760-0335, or you can go to our website and you can check the content. If you have any questions, call us. The classes are filling fast. We are admitting students. They are paying their money so that they can get started. Don't be left behind. Join the success crew. Bye-bye.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.